Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about toxic relationships and basically like the psychological background of it. So I just want to talk about something real quick. I know a lot of people hear this from me, but from the time that you're born up until about the age of 6 or 7 is when most of your brain like develops. So the environment that you're in around that time basically shapes you and molds you. Well, not you. Yeah, it does. It basically shapes and molds your sense of self, and it's something to look back into as far as your relationships with other people when you're an adult. So I know you're wondering, like, what does this have to do with toxic relationships? If you were the type of person who is attracted to toxic relationships, or if you're the type of person that always is in like a toxic relationship or a dysfunctional relationship, a lot of the like a pattern, if you notice that pattern within yourself, if you notice that you attract people that basically you have to work really hard to like get their attention. So basically, if you know you're one of those people that are always in a dysfunctional relationship, you might have had a childhood where as though your parent didn't give you much attention, or your parent basically didn't give you enough love as a child, in a sense that you may have gotten just a little bit of affection, but you might not have gotten as much as you may have wanted to. Or, you know, there was times where something must have really hurt you, or there were times that you wanted to really express yourself as a child, and your parents weren't, you know, really open to that. And, you know, or whoever raised you, if you were in that type of environment where as though you couldn't really express yourself, it basically can make a child think that they had to fight for love and attention from their parents or whoever it was that was taking care of them. And how this basically comes out in your adulthood, you attract partners that do the same thing. They don't give you that attention that you need, or the love that you need, the love that you really want. So in this scenario, that child basically grows up to be a people pleaser, and that's me. I'm kind of like a retiring people pleaser. I'm learning to not do that anymore. And then there's another child that comes from that type of household, whereas though they grow up to dismiss their feelings altogether. Like, they kind of look down on feelings and relationships. It's kind of like a waste of time to them. And when they do seem to like form some type of emotional connection, it's kind of like they kind of cut it off. So this child basically grows up to be very dismissive as an adult. Like, the attachment style that is called is dismissive avoidant. So in one scenario, we have a codependent, people pleaser type of child that grows up to be a people pleaser, codependent adult. And then we have the other child, same scenario, same, you know, childhood. They grow up to be very dismissive avoidant as far as how they cope with relationships. Somehow these two people always end up being together. It's like night and day, negative, positive, you know. More than likely, if you were in a toxic relationship and you were the person that was like very codependent, always fighting for attention and stuff like that, you are the people pleaser. And if you are the one that basically looks down on emotions, can't do the drama, you know, always looking for a way to get out of a situation, like a relationship, you really don't like, messy feelings, you are the dismissive avoidant. Both of these people want the same thing. Like, with all my research, I learned that dismissive avoidant people really do want love, but because of the childhood that because of the environment that they were raised in, it's kind of like they learn to shove their emotions down. They learn to push them down and lock them in a vault. And then, you know, on the other side of the coin, the person that's very codependent, you know, they were raised in the same household type of environment, you know, but they learned to basically overgive and try to fight for the attention of their parents, you know, very emotional. I'm just going to focus on the codependent for now, because usually we are the types of people that are kind of like in those toxic relationships over and over again, because we often think that we can fix people, or if we just love them a little bit more, they'll love us back, or we feel like we can make them love us the way we want to be loved. And usually this stems from a subconscious belief that we are not worthy of love. So once I discovered that about myself, it was, you know, something for me to dig into as far as self-love. So what I did to basically help me, what really helped me with basically healing that part of myself was first acknowledging it. You know, you just have to acknowledge that you are a people pleaser, and it comes from a subconscious, a deep-seated belief subconsciously that you are not worthy of love, and that you have to fight for someone's love when you really don't. Like, when you are secure within yourself, you really don't have to fight for nobody's love. You don't have to jump through hoops and, you know, the whole nine just to basically get along with somebody or get somebody to basically love you. You don't have to do that. Another thing that basically helped me along the way as far as my self-love journey, instead of looking for someone to give that type of love that I really wanted in my childhood, instead of waiting for someone to do it for me, I just did it for myself. So how you deal with that is basically giving that love that you haven't gotten as a child, and basically nurturing yourself and giving that type of love to yourself. I also had to acknowledge that being like that wasn't really coming from a place of self-love. It was coming from a place of not thinking that I was good enough, and I am good enough. I also had to acknowledge that being a codependent people pleaser was a toxic way of being, and the better term to describe it is called toxic nurturing. I'm going to link an article down below. The writer's name is Danielle Ayoka, and she gives better insight on how that way of attachment, like that attachment style, can be very toxic, because I know a lot of people think that it's like healthy to love like that, but it's not. It is a toxic way of being. So I'm going to link the article down below. Just let me know how you feel about it, guys. Thanks, guys, for watching the video. I hope you guys liked it. Just make sure you share this video. Also, like and subscribe.